Welcome to another edition of Resilient Living Podcast, a show dedicated to improving quality of life for both people and planet through liberation and independence, moving you from surviving to thriving and living life on your own terms. I'm your host, Adrian Babashoff, and this is episode 18, Possible Meat Shortages and Solutions. What do I mean by possible meat shortages? We had a JBS big meat packing house that got hacked. Seems like a lot of things are getting hacked these days. But that's what we're into today is, to talk about what we can do to hack the thing that got hacked and live a better life, whether that's with meat or without meat. Well, a lot of people are freaking out, and I figured that maybe the people who do know about this, see, this didn't make really front page news when I heard about it. They're just kind of keeping it quiet. Well, first of all, too, let's find out what I heard about it. I think that what it sounds like is it wasn't actually the facilities that got hacked. It was their accounting software that got hacked. They couldn't pay people. So instead of, trying to figure out what to do with that, where we pay people later or what, they figured we'd let a bunch of animals die, starve to death or whatnots, get everything all backed up and jumbled up. There's a bunch of different stories. I don't know which one's real, which one's not, but what we're looking at today is a lot of people concerned about not having meat, that the grocery stores are going to be barren. There's going to be no meat there. And for a lot of you guys who don't know, I guess the reason why a lot of people pay this so much mind is that a lot of people don't know that the grocery stores, it is said that they only have about 2 to 3 days, I think, supply of food. Without the trucks coming in, bringing things in, and constantly refilling the shelves, with all the consumers coming and buying things, within 2-3 days, certain products not there, hasn't been delivered, it's not going to be there anymore. Is this a reason to freak out, though? Is meat totally essential to our survival? I think, for me, I'm a meat eater. I consider myself an in-betweener. I love plenty of vegetables. I love my meats and things like that. Would I die without it? I think no. We've gone through a heck of a lot worse. I think this is a lot of fear-mongering and things to make people, that's put out there to make people go even crazier than we already are. Think about it, guys. If meat came off the shelf for a month, what's the worst thing that would happen? I think a lot of people would probably, they might gain weight because they start eating lots of bread and grains and things like that. But I think a lot of people would lose weight, and I actually think we'd probably be a little bit healthier. Now that's a kind of a crazy statement there, because there's some people who say that eating meat does make you healthier. There's some people who say that it doesn't. I noticed for myself, and I think the majority of people, if you went on a vegetarian diet and you did this every once in a while, you're actually going to feel a lot better. Meat, I love meat, and I think it has this place that has vitamins and minerals and things in it that we can't get anywhere else. So I think it's a big part, but would we die without it? I think no. That's just my opinions anyways. So let's talk about what we can do. Canned meats is one of the first things I have on here. As far as a backup, what do we do for preparedness in case these things happen? And as we always say, we want to do things that we're going to basically, we're going to utilize things that we're going to do anyways, right? Like, we're not going to go buy, it's too early in the morning for me to explain myself correctly here, obviously, and hauling a trailer. That's the background noise, by the way. That's my F-350 pickup truck. I'm on my work commute hauling a 14-foot trailer behind me, so I'm kind of out of it. But yeah, canned meats is the preparedness thing is what I've done. I went and purchased myself. I probably have 40 to 50 cans of tuna. I don't really like canned chicken, but you can put it in soups and things like that. And I guarantee you, if there was ever a huge shortage or something that happened, that canned chicken's going to taste relatively good. It's not quite that bad, And the reason why I'm saying about canning is if a lot of people don't understand, you can can meats yourself. You can can, in a mason jar. You can can fish, beef, duck, goose, turkey. Everything could be pork. Everything could be canned. But it's already canned for you. So buying things that you already are going to put in use so that you don't have them sitting aside, and end up throwing them away or giving them away and losing your investment, losing your money. So get things that you're already going to use. And I think that's the most popular thing is tuna and canned chicken. Now there's like Spam, Spam meat that they have for breakfasts and things like that. I don't know about this. Canned sardines. I'm not too much of a sardine fan myself. But I did think about getting just a couple of cans of it. I had it in the mustard sauce, and it's not quite that bad. Not my favorite, but I heard it's just got lots of vitamins. So I do a lot of things for myself that eating different types of meats to get different types of vitamins and minerals. So yeah, canned meats I think is where it's at. They have a long shelf life. And the canned tuna, one of the things I've discovered is I use cream of mushroom. I'll throw a little bit of cheese, maybe some cut up broccoli, some green onions in there. And then I found these almond flour base with something else I can't remember. It's basically a paleo cracker. And me and my daughter will break up the crackers and decide it's basically like a fish chowder. And it's really, really good, especially on cold days. Put some fresh ground pepper on top. We can do canned foods, we can invest in that, or maybe we should start familiarizing ourselves with raising animals. So I don't have full detail, we only have 15 minutes for the show, but I kind of want to just skim over for a lot of people who don't know. You are married to the farm. We have talked about that in the past. Whenever you have something live like that, you can't even leave for it like one night. You got to make sure you're there to take care of these things. But a relatively quick turnaround times with some things. And the first one is chickens. For those of you who don't know, within 8 to 12 weeks, you can literally have chickens ready to be butchered and wrapped up, cleaned up, and put in the freezer. So about 3 months out of your life, give or take, 2 to 3 months, you can literally fill up your freezer and just kind of make a day out of this thing. And again, as I said before in these past podcasts, if you're able to get a community going on where you guys raise a bunch, you guys all help to butcher and all kinds of things like that, you can make life relatively faster and easier and funner. I grew up in South America, in Uruguay, in a third world country, and I've been around we've processed all of our own animals all the way from cows, steers, to geese, chickens, a lot of different things. And it's a lot of work, so you may want to consider something like that, getting some help. Quail is actually a really nice one. You don't even really need utensils. You can literally process the animal with your hands, the head, the breast, the legs, and things like that. And mind you, a lot of these bird animals, they lay eggs, right? Ducks and stuff like that. I don't know if you guys have ever tried duck. I've tried it. It's greasy. It's definitely got its own flavor. I think there's a reason why chicken is more popular. But duck's not bad. Duck soups and stuff like that. I don't have that here on my notes of how long it would take, but quail are definitely probably the fastest turnaround. They're very quiet, very easy to manage, so even if you're in a city or something like that, things to take in consideration. Rabbits are a really good source of protein. It looks like they're about 10 to 14 weeks. Now, I've never processed a rabbit, but I'm thinking it's this exact same thing as like goats and sheep and stuff like that, just a miniature. One thing I did hear, my friends who do hunt, I learned a lot from them, and one of my friends who was a true mountain man, born, raised, cooked by fire, hunted all their own food, lived in the mountains, right? Traded fur and stuff like that. And one of the tricks that he said, I think this works with squirrel and rabbit, is you make a cut, incision along the top of the back on the spine. You grab both ends and you literally can take the fur completely off within seconds of rabbits and squirrel. Now, I think in a pinch, this would probably be, something that you'd want to do if you were, in a hurry. But I think that you probably want to save the skins if you're a person like me and utilize the entire animal. So that probably wouldn't be for you. Goats, 3 to 6 months. I forget how much it was for sheep. I think it was the same thing, and it depends. It's a yearling. You get a very young one. The meat's supposed to be a lot tender and stuff like that. So if you are going to eat meat, I think you should take the responsibility of processing, of practicing. I think so many people are. This is a plus, I think, for people who want to be the actual vegans and stuff out there, the vegetarians who are against meat eaters. I'm for you guys in the fact that a lot of people couldn't process. They couldn't do it themselves. I think that we'd have people convert over to veganism or vegetarian if they got blood on their hands and had to actually literally take ownership of where their meat's coming from. But I think it's that if you can get past all that, if you can get into it and actually understand the significance. I don't want to get into a philosophical rant over here, but if you can realize that everything on this planet has life, down to insects and plants, and there's no difference between one or the other, if you really look down on an energy level, again, I don't want to get all philosophical, but I just find it fascinating that some people will say that a small animal, or something like a fish or an insect, has less significance than say a cow. I think, in my opinion, the respect for life in general is that there's living things everywhere, and just because you're walking across your lawn or a field or something to go pick a dandelion doesn't mean you're going to step and kill a bunch of worms, insects, possibly a lizard, and all kinds of different things. So it's a crazy thing to talk about. I'm not going to take that one further, but it's definitely taken ownership, and there's actually a joy, I think, and a beauty in all the things that are being born. Things are dying all the time. Things are being born all the time. There's a yin-yang equilibrium that's going on there. All right, let's move forward to aquaponics and fish. Now, I never got to the area where I did this on a huge scale, but I did to the range of 50 tilapia. Had some systems, some things that went wonky, and ended up losing most of them in the beginning, and then I lost all of them in the end. It was a hard learning curve. So instead of using tilapia, it's for many different reasons. They need warm water, in fact, to breed. I think it's like 85 degrees is when it triggers off for them to breed. So if you're looking to breed them, you're going to have that warm water. They do not do well when it gets freezing cold, and that's what happened with me. I invented some sort of solar heater thing to keep the water warm in the winter, and that was a pain in the butt. So finally I just said, forget it. I just went with like goldfish and carp and stuff like that. So yeah, aquaponics, you can raise fish. The thing I find fascinating here is that most people say, I don't want to eat farm-raised shrimp or salmon or trout or something like that. They got parasites and everything, but when it comes to aquaponics and we stick 50 fish inside of a 275-gallon IBC tote and have them swimming around, suddenly it's not farm-raised food, even though you're throwing food on the, to feed the fish. So definitely something to take in consideration. What's nice about aquaponics is you do get the byproduct of vegetables. It's a byproduct of raising the whole system. It does have its pluses and minuses. I don't have time to go in full detail, but you get the electricity shut off, you got problems. One of the biggest things that you want to do is keep dissolved oxygen levels, DO they call it. You need to get a stone, you need to get a generator and keep oxygen for those fish so that they don't die, because this can happen very fast, depending on your stock density of your tanks too, which you have. So there's a lot of things that could go wonky, diseases and things like that. I guess that's our 15 minutes are up here. I've got a few more minutes here to talk to you guys. I usually race through all these show notes to try to get them all off, but I want to try to calm it down, take it a notch down, and just slow it down to give you guys to finish each subject matter as we go. Been literally trying to cram in like 15 different subject matters in 15 minutes. Not very doable. So yeah, out of all of these things, how does this improve the world? I think it improves the world. I like to always end the shows this way. If you learn to raise your own meats, chicken meat is not supposed to be yellow and have a strange smell to it. It's actually pink and it smells sweet. It's a heck of a lot better. When you process your own animals, you're going to learn the respect for life on Earth. You're going to raise animals in a more humane way. And like I always say, if for any other reason, do it for the flavor of the food and the entertainment of raising animals. They bring so much joy into your life. Fish are supposed to calm you down, science says, by watching them swim. I believe in that. I've got some goldfish in a small little aquaponic system right now in my little tiny home area. And yeah, you guys, this actually brings you down to earth and humbles you. So consider, getting yourself, I think with all this troubling times and everything going on, we should definitely all consider about growing our own food and doing whatever we can, even if it's on a small scale. The thing I like about aquaponics, even though it is precarious, is that even people who have very small spaces can still grow food, still raise fish for meat, and grow some vegetables and things like that. So I'm not all against it, but I do have my deals with it that we'll talk about in future episodes. Well, guys, that's the show. I hope that I've helped you guys out. I hope that these podcasts these shows are helping you guys to see some of the brighter side, to see some of the solutions, because I see a lot of bad stuff out there, and I don't see a lot of solutions, and I'm really working hard to come up with solutions for you guys to a lot of these problems. So if I brought you guys any value, please like, subscribe, review the show, help me get the show off the ground. We're in our infant stages. We have a heck of a lot to talk about. If you guys want this to be around, please help me out here, and like I said, spread the word about the show. If there's something you guys want to hear, let me know. It's Resilientlpodcast at gmail.com. Everything's in the description below. You guys can email me direct and give me some subject matter you guys want to hear about, or give me your ideas on what we just talked about on the show. So guys, as I always say, go out there and have yourself a near life experience. Don't lose your muchness. Carry on the fire and human up, my friends.